I'm Tatyana Fazlalizadeh. I'm 38 years old, and I'm an artist based in Brooklyn, New York. I'm entering into my very first solo exhibition in Los Angeles. And while I'm very excited for this, I am tired and I'm stressed out. So much of my work is about holding space for other people to share their stories, for me to amplify their stories and their experiences, especially as racialized and gendered people. But I've been wondering lately when and where and how I'm able to hold space for myself. Finding Soft Ground is a multimedia exhibition that is exploring what safety and freedom and comfort might look like for Black women in three different environments: the street, the home, and the natural world. I began this work literally a year before we actually started installing the show by visiting LA, talking to women, and asking them, where do you feel most yourself? Where do you feel most safe, most free? What are the environments? Describe that environment to me. This type of social engagement is really a foundational part of my art practice. The information that I got from the women in the social engagement practice was really full and really in depth. And I decided that I wanted the aesthetic and the material of this show to mimic that. So I wanted to layer text with image, with video, with plant matter, with my paintings, with my drawings, to give this really full, sort of in depth texture to these environments that I'm creating. One of the gallery rooms is the window room, which is this sort of like narrow corridor gallery that has these large windows looking directly onto the street. And so my idea was to let's make that an extension of the street. So we got these big wooden panels that might mimic wooden panels that you would see on a boarded up building. I put some paint on it, make it look dirty, make it look like an outdoor street. And then I actually pulled from my Stop Telling Me to Smile archive and pulled some posters to put onto these wood panels to make it look like my street artwork is there on this street wall that we just placed inside of the gallery. There's text that I put on the windows that says, hit me in my face because I wouldn't give him my number, while all these men just sit around and watched. That text comes directly from actual experiences. When you go inside this room, you're looking into the mirror, and looking into the mirror situates you. It positions you into this issue of street harassment. And then we move into the home place. The home place being the second environment that the exhibition explores. I use vintage photographs and a couch and plant matter to create the environment of a living room. And in this room, we discuss the implications of race and gender on the actual safety that we experience in a place that is supposed to be the safest for us. I think because I'm talented, I can often get sidetracked because I want to do all of it. I want to do all of it. I want to try all of it. I want to throw it all in there. This show is an opportunity for me to show the different layers and the different aspects of my talent and my creative work. But also, the great thing about having this show is that there's a curator who is there to help edit, who is there to help say, well, maybe move this here, move that there, or maybe this wall only needs that instead of all these other things, right? And Essence was great with that. What I realize and learn is just like an independent artist, someone who doesn't have a gallery. I don't have a gallerist, I don't have an agent, I don't have a manager, I don't have a publicist. So when I talk about the labor and the work of it all, it's the labor of just making the art, being the artist, right? And then there's also like the professional part of it. There's the other side of it. We put the show up. Now it's like, are people going to see the show? Are they going to talk about the show? Are they going to write about the show? Do they care about the show? Now I got to make social media content. I'm emailing writers and I'm emailing journalists, trying to get people to just come visit the show, see if it's something that they care about or would care to write about. It's all at art work too, and it ends up just kind of being stressful. It ends up being stressful. Because not like you're getting paid a whole bunch of money, right? The hope is that the work sells or it leads to another opportunity or another show. And then I like get away from all of that and I just try to think about making work that I hope will stand the test of time. I think about, am I really tapping into the truest, most honest form of expression that I can do as the person and the artist that I am? And am I sharing that in a true and honest way? Is what I'm saying and what I'm doing getting to the heart of myself first, and then ideally getting to the heart of somebody else? Writing is such a big part of my practice, and one of the pieces in the show is a handwritten piece of writing. It was something that I was writing as I was thinking about this work, as I was going through the interviews that I did with the Black women in LA, and listening to some of them talk about home being where they feel safe, or someone else's home, or not feeling safe at home, right? For mental and emotional reasons. And then also there's the very real reality that violence still meets us at home. For a lot of people, there's physical abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's verbal abuse, there is fear. And then there's also the real reality that we have examples of white violence, state violence meeting us at home. Breonna Taylor is an example of that. Tatyana Jefferson. And so I mentioned them in this piece that I wrote and that I put up at a very large scale in the gallery, because I wanted people to be able to stop and read it and place this sort of home environment that I created inside of the gallery into a different context. Finally, the third environment of the exhibition is the natural world. I created a 6-minute single channel video that is playing, takes up the entirety of a wall. There's a park bench, there is sand on the ground. And I wanted to create this room to feel like, okay, we made it there. We made it to a soft place.
not to put the blame on myself, but like, I really don't know what to do. The universe opens up some pathway. Frustrated because I feel undervalued. I literally just want underseen that it's about relationships and who you know. And maybe my shit just ain't like that. I've been pressing on, making work, trying to in this space, trying to grow. And so now I'm frustrated. I'm grateful and I'm frustrated at the same time. And I'm proud of myself. Um, yeah.
In the middle of installing the show, my mother calls me and she's crying, and my grandmother died. My grandmother had been sick for a while, and so we knew that this time was going to come soon. But I don't think it actually eases any of the shock or any of the pain, at least not for me. My grandmother's funeral is then a few days later, and it ends up being the day before the opening of my show. And it's a lot. It's a long day. It's a long 2 days. It's been a long week. Right now I feel fine though. Like I really feel fine. I think that like all of my emotions and my grief will just sort of, I'm containing it. I feel like I'm containing it. So I'm about to pack my stuff and get out of here. It's kind of hard to describe what my grandmother was to me and my family, but I'm sure if you have a grandmother, you probably understand. So I won't try to explain it. But I will say that dipping from LA for just 24, 36 hours to go to my grandmother's funeral was incredibly sad. But it was also this moment for me to be around my family members and to be loved upon in a way that only your family members can love on you, and to love on them in the way that I needed to love someone. It was a beautiful moment.
Oh, just the boys. No, all grandkids. All grandkids. No, but y'all didn't get one. We're going next. Well, Todd is not in it. Todd, come on. All the grandkids. I put Todd.
After the funeral, I got back on a flight and headed back to Los Angeles for the opening day of the exhibition. When I got back, it was completed and it looked amazing. The curator, the managing director, the entire team at Art in Practice, the installers, they had all continued to work to make the final touches of installation, and it was beautiful. And I'm smiling at people and I'm talking to people at the opening and really there and really present, but very mindful of the fact for me that I had just come from burying my grandmother 24 hours before.
Thank you everyone for being here this afternoon. Congratulations, Tatyana. Thank you.
I think literally, in a literal sense, you walk into the back room, the final room of the show, and I put sand on the ground. There's actual soft ground. There is and always will be some space and some moment for refuge, for peace, for love, for softness.
I hope you fall on soft ground. The seeds are talking to each other saying, I hope you fall on soft ground. And I think that is just such a beautiful, beautiful sentiment in a beautiful book. And when I was interviewing these women in LA last year, I thought about it as being the seeds talking to each other, have conversation to each other. And so I titled the show Speaking to Falling Seeds. And with that sentiment behind it, knowing that like I hope that they fall on soft ground. I hope you find a soft space to be, to land, and to live. And so when creating this show, because we are creating these different locations and environments, and each different location and environment, you are seeking safety, right? So it's like finding the soft ground. Where is the soft ground? Is it outside? Is it in the home? Is it in the natural world? Where is it? What is it? So the title of the show is related to the CAM title, and both titles are related to Their Eyes Are Watching God. So thank you for that. I think that was a good question to end on too. Yeah.
At the end of the journey of creating this exhibition, of going through the emotional and mental and physical highs and lows, excitement mixed with grief, anticipation mixed with doubt, of the challenges of being an artist, the challenges of being a person, the challenges of being a woman. When I went to that back room and I sat there, it honestly sort of felt like I had created something that I needed. I needed that soft ground. I needed that space for myself. And while you create work, it often feels like we're making it for other people. It often feels like other people get to experience it. But I realized that I made something that I needed, particularly then. And I was just grateful.